Howdy, howdy, fellow movie fans of the internet, and welcome back to another edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers Podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Evan and Dylan Davies. Dylan, is it time to start a new project?
Sure.
The commitment level is high today, friends. The commitment level is high today as we are starting our new year-long project. Last year, we did a look through of so many different things for our year-long project, as it was a top 100 series for us, just our 100 favorite movies. And Dylan's probably steadfast, not changing much, and mine changed quite a bit by the end of the year. But that is a-okay. So we're going to do something that can't really change because we're just looking back through history and seeing what's going to go through. So we're going to be analyzing trends that happen and significant tech upgrades for films in each decade. Along with that, we're going to be giving our favorite movies, some awards that were happening during that time, and just some recommendations throughout those movies. And whether your favorites are the biggest movies of the decade or not is really up to you. So that's going to be fun. And we are starting in modern day and we're working backwards. So we're here for the 2020s. And is it safe to say it's a bit of a disappointing market right now for the 2020s?
Mm, I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot of good stuff, and there's a lot of I don't want to say crap, but crap.
Schlock. There's just a
That
lot
is
of stuff. There's just a lot of meh.
well, there's a lot of stuff that I don't particularly like that does well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's it's also hard to tell because we're just getting into the second half of the decade,
Right.
and which is really where like I always consider a decade concretes itself in its own trends in the second half, usually more than the first. It's kind of finding itself in the first.
Sure. Well, especially this one. I mean, should we start with the biggest thing that impacted cinema in general in 2020 as we do this? And it's clearly the pandemic.
Yeah,
So, as right as you start the decade, you get, was it even 2 months of the theater experience? And that
not
was it.
even. Yeah,
Right? Like, Rise of Skywalker came out at the end of 19, and then I believe is the biggest hit from 2020, Bad Boys for Life or whatever. Because I
yeah,
remember it just snuck in, because I think at one time it was Sonic the Hedgehog. Because Sonic the Hedgehog had the
yeah.
most amount of time for a big movie right before the world
Yes,
shut down.
yeah. And then it kind of returned with. I think Spider-Man: No Way Home was like the first actual big hit
Yes.
after COVID.
And it felt more of an exception more than the rule.
Yes, I would agree with that.
In
Let's see.
2020, a lot of good stuff that was coming in 2020 down the pipeline was delayed to 21, or a lot was delayed till 2022. But the pandemic completely shifted what movies look like in a way that obviously none of us have ever seen before. As two people who love the movie going experience, and I know you don't really go anymore because of some of your own personal quirks and personal traits, you are a huge believer in the movie going experience. You want people to go to the theater and
Mhm.
experience it. And as someone who is at a theater almost every week at this point for this podcast, as long as I'm not traveling or under the weather, we want people in the theater experiencing these films. We want that to be a thing. And when a pandemic comes and it makes it impossible to go, it really does change the landscape of how movies are made, how movies make money, which is inherently how we are going to get movies. Whether good or bad, that's how we're going to get movies, is if you can
Mhm.
make money off of them.
Yeah, it's always been that way.
And that's the scariest part of the pandemic. It just goes and completely obliterates the model that's been working for over 100 years in cinema of going to the theater and going to see a movie, which is scary.
Yeah, and it also we're still kind of in this era where I'd say it started in like 2017, early 2018, where politics really becomes like arguably the biggest influence on movies.
Yeah.
And because we're still in that era, it's gonna keep going until probably another at least 6 years, I would guess.
Yeah.
Because there's always a lingering effect with everything.
And when you say that, what are you seeing when you're saying that? Like, what is that really meaning?
It's something I talk about with the trends, where it's like reflecting on like division, especially like within a family.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, a lot of stuff about inequality and social rifts and stuff like that.
Which it's not as if that's never been the case,
No, it's just a different look at it.
but it's very much at the forefront of almost every film now because since it doesn't matter what your politics are, since the rise of the Tea Party, but especially since the rise of Donald Trump into politics, every family is now going through this in the American landscape for the most part, where they have family members that they vehemently disagree with, and for the first time in history, the vast majority of people can say, I don't like, I don't associate, I hate, I can't respect my family members due to their political views, whether they're on one side or the other. You know, we ourselves is, we love our family, but there are family members that we have that were like, we can't respect their viewpoint, and they clearly don't respect ours when it comes to our political leanings. They're
Mhm.
like, oh, well, it should be like this and that, and they're the classic believers and pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of people without thinking about what that actually means. And we're out here as young people being like, yo, maybe we shouldn't murder people in the street with a Gestapo. How about that? Let's just start with that. I think we can agree on that. And then magically, we can.
Yeah, and there's different variations to that where you have stuff that is very on the nose, which I'll talk about,
Right.
and then you have a lot of good stuff where it's like a little bit more subtle, where it's saying something that fits into that category. It's not doing it in your face.
Right. So that's the biggest thing is you're seeing the influence of. Would you say I don't know how you feel about this, but I certainly have gotten this from a lot of people, not just myself, that it feels like when movies are trying to say something, they a lot of the time they don't know how to do it unless it's directly on the nose now. They don't know how to blend it in and say it while making sure the viewing entertainment experience is the most important thing. It's the commentary is the most important thing, and the experience of the movie kind of is second
I
to
would
that.
agree with that in terms of some stuff. Like, I think comic book movies, it's always just gonna be, like, on the nose immediately.
Oh yeah.
They're not gonna do anything subtly, unfortunately, or I should say very rarely,
I was gonna say, have we really done that successfully since The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises? Where
which actually, that brings up something. I just watched, Begonia, which
yeah,
is Best Picture nominee this year. Really enjoyed it, but there's a reveal at the end of it that really made me think of The Dark Knight, where
interesting.
you can look at The Dark Knight and then you look at, like, all the Patriot Act stuff, like spying on people,
Yeah,
and it's like they're actually sending a very bad message out there about it being like, "It's okay if it's for a good purpose."
right.
And Begonia has something like that where I got, like it really it's not the movie's fault, it's actually an adaptation of a book.
Right.
So, really, I have a problem with the book more than I do with the movie. Um, but it just, like it seems to throw it in the face of everything they were trying to do the whole time. So, it kinda took away from the movie. I really enjoyed it, but the last part of it, I was like, I don't know if I like this ending."
I mean, that's fair though. I mean, especially with it's shocking how many people can't stick the landing. And I'm not saying it's easy sometimes. Sometimes you make this great narrative, you make this great push for something, right?
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden you realize, oh fuck, we didn't land this at all. How did we get here? Because it looks like you're going A to B to C really, really well. And all of a sudden you get to C and you're like, whoa, we ended up at, J. How the fuck do we get here?
Yeah. Well, it's like it was a really good examination of like conspiracy conspiracy theories and like echo chambers and stuff like that, where it's like these people just become so isolated in their own mindset
Right.
that they lose themselves. And then the ending just throws that all in the face of everything they built up.
Correct.
I don't want to spoil it because it's a brand new movie, pretty
Right.
much. Um, I would recommend it, but I did have problems with the ending.
That's fair. I had the chance to watch it on my flight back from the Long Beach, LA area, and
Okay.
unfortunately I was doing our entire schedule and doing notes for this, so I chose to watch
Uh,
Grease in the background.
yeah, I don't blame you.
It was just one of those I was like, do I have also quick note on it. Is Begonia what everyone's saying it is, and this is Emma Stone's like third best picture or best actress winner? Is it looking like that already?
I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay.
I would say the two. I'd say yeah, the two that she won for, I think she deserved. I would have preferred. Shoot, I don't remember the Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon over Emma Stone the second time she won.
Sure.
That's just personal choice, but I can completely see why she won. If she won this year again, I would be a little disappointed, honestly.
And have you seen the other nominees yet? Because obviously, I know you're going to do your damnedest to do that, as will I. I'm going to probably just buy the movie passport from Marcus and just go see them all in the theater at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what were the nominees. There's one I know I haven't seen, which is Rose Byrne, um, in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
Huh.
And so actually, I've only seen Bugonia out of the actress nominees
Okay.
because I want to see Hamlet. That's probably like my most anticipated movie as of right now.
Okay.
Almost went to the theater to see it.
Whoa, that says a lot,
Almost.
people. It says a lot.
Yeah, I looked at the seating stuff and it was like mostly sold out, and I was like, I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be awesome if you could bring like a Bluetooth set of headphones and just Bluetooth the audio in, you
oh,
know?
that'd be great. That would solve all my problems because
Well,
I would just
do
bring
you
some noise
know
canceling.
of the silent disco or the silent party trend that started?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know about that.
we had we had a at the youth center I worked at in Chicago. We had a sunken gym that literally the entire building just surrounded. So when they wanted to have stuff for the kids, but it was still like a working day for everybody in the building, where it had to be a true work day, they're like, we can't have a full on party. They would bring in the headphone guys for the silent disco, and it was hilarious because you see a bunch of kids just like rocking out right together in groups, and I never had the headphones on, so I'm just laughing my ass off because I'm one of the silent, chaperones for this dance, and
Yeah.
I'm just laughing the whole time because I can't hear shit. But I was just
I
like,
always like that concept.
I'm glad they're enjoying it. I'm glad they're having fun with it
Yeah.
because it solves two problems. They get to have a grand old time, and we as adults, we don't have to deal with any of this shit. We just have to make
Mhm.
sure they're okay. Like it's so much easier. It'd be nice if you could do that with a movie and just be like, I really want to watch this in theaters. I just don't want to hear anybody chewing.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not just chewing, it's like, uh, there's people talking,
Cell phones, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
cell phones. Most people are pretty good about cell phones now,
Yeah.
but I sometimes those younger kids hate to be one of those people, but
They ruined Jaws for you. That was the worst part.
yeah, it was annoying.
You went to the 45th anniversary of Jaws, then you got mad about it.
Um, yeah, it must have been the 45th. Yeah, because
It's
it was a
still one of
while
my
ago.
favorite stories ever because I've never yo-yoed an emotion so much as when you told me you don't go to the theater anymore. And I was like, "What? You used to live in the theater." And then you told me the reason why, and it was also while a lot of your personal traits that you currently deal with are coming were coming to light and you're starting to realize who you are as a human being,
Yeah,
which, you've been upfront that you're autistic, but we didn't know that at the time. And so it's
yeah,
funny because a lot of those traits very much came out as an adult, um, more to the surface. So when you tell me this, I'm like, what do you mean he can't go to the theater anymore? Like, grow up. And then I'm like, oh, it makes so much more sense now. His entire life has made sense now.
yeah, yeah. The misophonia thing has been a thing since high school that it like really started to bother me. But yeah, I mean, when you have a group of like 10 kids all on their phones, just straight up talking at normal volume, kind of hard to focus on a movie.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
That was the only time I ever actually considered going up and asking for a refund. I didn't do
Wow.
that, but I was very, like, heavily considered. I just left, like, halfway through,
That's tough, man.
but it was, like, $5. If it was a regular, like, $13, I probably would've went, "Hey, I want a refund."
That's
But
very fair. That's very, very fair. Yes, Ash, that is true. Um, but it's just an interesting landscape to be a part of now, where what's funny is I've had the complete reverse in a theater now, where 21, 22, granted, I was right next to the talkers, so they got a piece of my mind because they were part of my party. And I was like, you will not take my name down in this theater. I am a respectful theater goer. You motherfuckers need to shut up. We were just talking about because it was one of our friends that we were just visiting, and we unfortunately he's the only one that rivals Ab in volume, in just straight volume while speaking.
sure.
And for some reason, they were put next to each other, and I was on the end right next to him, and it was No Time to Die. And they kept going like this fucking guy, and I was like, "Shut up, guys! Shut the fuck up! We all know he's a villain. Just watch the goddamn movie. Like, come on." But as
Yeah.
time has passed, like 2021 was almost like a 2021, early 22 was kind of like a relearning the social skills of what it means to be in a theater. But ever since, outside of a random phone check, nothing. I've never had that problem outside of like, we're taking a group of kids to a private 10 o'clock screening of a movie because it can be a group field trip. I'm like, yeah, they're 6 and 7. I expect them to not
Yeah.
be perfect, right? And that's a completely different thing than when you're a member of the general audience public going to see a movie.
Yeah, I think it also there's, like, all those stupid trends that I you always hear about on social media. That also kind of made me view theaters negatively, like that stupid Minecraft movie one, where like people would like literally throw all their shit
Yeah.
all over the theater, like soda and popcorn and stuff. For what I don't even know why. It just seemed to be random.
Well, I do remember going to the theater for because that had staying power. And I remember going for a lot of the reviews that I was doing for the show in May, and they had postings up through the entire theater. Please remember, if you are booking this ticket to this Minecraft showing, it's a very party atmosphere and it's a very inclusive experience for everybody. So if you expect a traditional viewing experience, you will be disappointed. This is a very loud and boisterous crowd. And the thing is this, with that, if posted, couldn't care less.
I was gonna say, I think they should do that more often for more movies, and then have ones where it says like, "Hey, shut the fuck up." Like, honestly, there should be a ticket variation where you can have
There's
the
an STFU ticket and there's a party
yes,
ticket.
yes,
And you just do a baseline. This is the STFU ticket. This is the normal theater experience.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and watch the movie. Where this is the party one. Have at it. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, and then there was the like I can't remember it was like the Despicable Me like bros where they would show up.
Yeah,
I can't there was a specific name for them.
I
Um
can't remember what it was, but
it
I
was
know
like
what you're talking about.
something about minions where like all these like you know older teenagers would go to them and just be assholes.
Well, I mean, we're seeing in the comments right now because we're live on Twitch. My wonderful moderator Ash. Yeah, setting expectations is important. It's why she'll never go to a sing along version of K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters. Like, good for them, but I'll pass.
That's another good thing that I think is actually a good positive is the sing along versions.
Yeah, people can do it then, and you know it.
Because yes, because it literally says on the ticket, "This
And
is a sing-along version."
and then if you go and if you don't know, that sucks, but it's like it's literally on the ticket. Hey, sing along version. And then you
Yeah,
know, like Ash or myself, if it was a movie you'd like to go see, but it's the sing along version, you're like, nah, I'll go see a different
yeah,
showing. It's fine.
yeah. I just wish there were uh, I wish movie theaters would be more blunt.
I think they're starting to because they're finally starting to even out business again. Where 21, 22, they were like, we don't know if we're going to be in business very long. And then here come a string of movies that just poured energy and lifeblood back into them in 2022. But it was certainly something in which you had to be worthwhile for. Are there any other trends that you are seeing that you really wanted to talk about?
Okay, so this is specifically for the Oscars. Um, but definitely inclusion.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, I can't remember exactly the year. It was the year after the year or two after the Oscars So White like trend
yeah,
where there was 0 people of color nominated for, like, major categories.
yeah. Ooh,
I think it was 2016, maybe? No, that was when Moonlight won, so 2018? I can't remember, but it was, like, a couple years after that. I remember the Academy saying, like, "Oh, we're this is actually a cause for us now that we're going to try to make it better." And I remember one of the things 'cause they released the list of people who were, um, invited to become a part of the Academy. And I remember some of like, Chris Tucker was on the list of people who were now in the Academy, and that one really stuck up because I was like, "Well, that's not a traditional choice, that's for sure." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine with me." Like, I think more people like that should be in the Academy because, for one, the Academy has always kinda looked down on horror and comedy especially,
yeah,
and now you're getting a lot of, like, variation within their nominations, which is good.
which is great. And at least it feels as though some normalcy is there. I think that's part of the reason they got the reputation that they did. It
Yeah.
didn't feel like a normal body of people. It felt like a bunch of uppity fucks who are like, these are what we think. It felt like the manifestation of what a film school student who hasn't really lived the world yet does. Where the Whereas the stereotype of, oh, you think that's good film? Well, let me tell you, and you're like, I can watch a movie too, motherfucker. Just because you've gone to film school doesn't mean your opinion on film is magically better than anybody else's.
Mhm.
Like it's not how it works.
I think that's oversimplifying the Academy a little bit too much,
I'm
in my
sure it is.
opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because I do think a lot of people do immediately write off some movies as pretentious,
Yeah.
whereas if they just watch them, I they're actually, like, great movies.
Oh yeah.
Um, obviously it's coming from someone who watches a lot of movies and not just popcorn stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's one of them. The other trends that I wrote down. So this is more of a continuation that has been going on, but I don't think it's ever going to stop at this point, which is nostalgia-based content, like, still just as prevalent, if not more than it was 10 years ago. So,
So
like
I'll boil mine in with you because I have IP dominates theaters. We can still get original movies, but IP
yes.
dominates theaters. And I think, towards your point, the nostalgia of IP is certainly a huge driving
Yeah,
factor there.
because like, even they're not huge movies, a lot of the ones I wrote down. So, like, Freakier Friday, Space Jam Legacy, Cruella, Lightyear, Mufasa, Beetlejuice, all the Disney live action movies, really. Um, Barbie, like, it's all nostalgia based.
Yeah, and the crazy part is there were some really good movies in there, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
Barbie's,
even Top Gun Maverick technically is
yeah, Top Gun Maverick is a huge nostalgia bomb,
yeah,
and those are two of
so
my those are two movies in my top 50 of all time. I fucking love both those movies, and many people would say I love that movie. It's a great movie, right?
yeah, it's just about what you do with it
Yeah.
more than anything.
Well, you have to do something to
Um,
push it forward, right? You have to do
well, it
something that's
has
going
to
to
be
make it
more
different.
than just, "Hey, you remember this thing? Here you go."
Well, that's why I tend to like a lot of the nostalgia stuff that just is either really honest about itself or does try doing something new. Well, I loved Beetlejuice because it just went, hey guys, we're not trying to make this more than what it was. We're just going to make a fun, silly comedy in this world. But I like the fact that they put in new, weird elements of the Beetlejuice world and explored more of that. But they still were like, okay, Beetlejuice is here, but Beetlejuice isn't going to dominate this movie again. Just like
Yeah,
Beetlejuice doesn't dominate the first one. And I really
mhm,
appreciated that aspect of it because it was like, we're just kind of telling a new story with Beetlejuice. It's fine, but we're not
yeah,
trying to make it bigger than what it was supposed to be. Or Top Gun
um,
Maverick, where you're like, oh, we're gonna tell this story of this guy and really go forward into what does it mean for this guy specifically to always be the one to survive, always be the one to fight another day, even though he should be the one that never makes it to another day. And I
mhm.
kind of loved that element of that film a lot.
Um, Couple other ones that I wrote down. Horror as a dominant genre now.
Yep,
Like, I
especially in
mean,
theaters. Theaters survive off of horror films now.
yes, it always used to be the case, kind of, I would say always, where you could always make a low budget horror movie, and that was literally the safest gamble you could make
Oh yeah,
as a producer. Make something for $5 million. That's how Blumhouse literally created their entire fr franchise,
it's
really.
because of $5 million gambles that they now get to play with some of the richest IP films ever
Yeah,
seen.
because you make something for $5 million, even if it makes just $20 million, you made your money double over.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
So, and then, like, the ones I wrote down were, like, the bigger successful ones. So, Sinners, obviously. Weapons, again this year. 28 years later.
Yep.
Pretty low budget.
Another
Did really well.
another nostalgia bomb.
True. Eh, that's not as bad, though, because it's not like
It's wildly different than the first one too.
yes, I was gonna and it's not bringing back, like, the same characters or anything.
Yeah,
So it is very creative in that sense. It's just in the same world.
yeah.
Um, Barbarian, Talk to Me, Substance, Smile, and then even though I didn't see it and I heard pretty mediocre things, last Conjuring movie did really well,
Oh yeah, the Conjuring movies
box
always do
office
well.
wise.
Yeah,
Um, the resurgence of musical biopics.
it needs to
Speci-
go away. It
they
needs to
never,
go away.
yeah, they never truly actually went away. It's just the return of like prestige ones where they're like actual award contenders
Fucking
again.
kill me. I'm
Because
sick
it
of
was a
this.
yeah, it was a very big thing mid 2000s. Ray, Walk the Line. like all those ones.
Yeah.
Dreamgirls, you could even argue. And then now you get like Elvis, A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan one.
Well, you're getting
There's that.
Michael this year.
I was gonna say there's that new Michael Jackson one. Um, so it's a return to.
Do you want to know how excited I am for that? I went through the entire year of movies and I am going, okay, I want to do a review for this. I want to do a review for that. I want to be a consistent movie reviewer. I want to see cinema in 2026. And I got to Michael and I said, I won't do it. And I just skipped over to the next week. And I went, is there something else? Because I was like, I refuse to keep going to these dumbass fucking musical biopics that are, generally speaking, just a circle jerk about people liking their music.
Sometimes a lot of them I would agree with that. I the ones I like are the ones that don't whitewash the person
Well,
as
that's
much.
why I'm very concerned about the one
Oh
that's
yeah,
coming out in April.
the Michael Jackson one, I know for a fact it's going to be nothing but white knighting Michael Jackson.
Oh, he did a moonwalk and he reinvented pop culture and
Yeah,
like, yeah, he did that. You know what else he did?
yeah, it's like they're just going to shy away from everything dark. Um, what else do we got?
It's
Oh,
brutal.
this is a big one. This is a question more than anything. It could be the beginning of comic book fatigue
It's not the beginning. It is comic book fatigue. It's bad.
because did some checking. In 2021, 5 of the top 10 movies were comic books. 2022, 5. 2023, there was 3. 2024, there was only 1 that was a comic book movie in the top 10.
Uh,
And then 2025, there was 2. So it does seem to be a trend now
I think
that
it's a two. I think it's a dual pronged effect. I think it goes into another trend that has been terrible, specifically since the pandemic. It started pre-pandemic, but it felt like it was more of a bonus beforehand, and now it feels like it's the norm that sucks. It's the two pronged effect. You have the Disney Plusification of the streaming world,
hmm,
where the streaming platform really dictates the cinema, as opposed to the cinema dictating the streaming platform, right? Like how many good movies, even good movies, they're on a streaming platform within 6 weeks now. It's
yeah,
ridiculous, and it's because streaming services are money losers, generally
not
speaking,
the
right now.
movies I like because I'm waiting on Hamnet. It's still in theaters right now,
Yeah.
but like I think the Blu-ray like pre-order, I think it comes out in like April. Like, God damn it, I gotta wait till April to see this. Eh,
Hey, I mean, you could go to a theater.
I did check today, but there's only one showing and it's at 7 o'clock.
Ah,
Not about to do that.
that's too many people for good old Davies over there.
Well, not just that. I when I work the next day, I go to bed pretty early.
I know you do. I know you do. But
I'm
I
an old
want
fart.
to. I know you are, and that's why we love you. But it's the streaming services now kind of dictate the movies. Like, look how big it was for this new Netflix Warner Brothers merger or a WBD merger, where the president of Netflix had to come out and guarantee 4 to 6 weeks in the theater for some of these movies.
Mhm.
That shouldn't ever be the case. The idea is
Yeah,
make the movie like before it felt like it was a two-pronged bonus. You go to the theater, you see it as many times as you want to as an audience member, whatever the case may be. Most people it's one, sometimes it's two, three, sometimes you get crazy numbers. But you make as much money as you can that way, and then you plug for a month to a month and a half. Hey, this big movie from the year is coming over to streaming. Come over to our streaming platform and watch it. And then you build it as a second event. Now it's just everybody knows for the vast majority of these movies. Why would I go pay for it if I'm already paying for the streaming platform and I could just wait? Because there's so few movies that actually make people feel the urgency that they have to go.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why I don't like streaming all that much.
I mean, it's a bitch because
I,
it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario.
yeah, I tend to buy everything on physical, and that's usually the first time I watch it.
Yeah.
The only like variations on that are usually around award season, where I'm
Well,
like, sometimes I really enjoy the movie, sometimes I think nothing of them.
yeah.
So,
I'm a little concerned. I just thought about this angle. You're a huge user of the public library, which everybody should be. You should always support your local library. Do that.
yes,
It's free.
it's nice.
It's
It's
free.
nice.
Just go and get whatever you want for free. That's how you can.
I have like 25 books checked out at the moment.
Oh yeah, no. The Oshkosh Public Library is a great library system. That whole area has a goal.
Yeah, it is good.
All of Wisconsin actually does have a technical loaning system with each other, and it's a great library system. But that's how I track down half of this shit for the show if I can't find it on a streaming service. I just go. I live a block away from the public library. I just walk over. I'm like,
Yep.
"Do you have X?" And I'll look for it.
Yeah, and there's also a service, streaming service. It's called Canopy, which is like a step below Criterion, I would say, where it's like they have a lot of like great like historical movies,
Yeah.
and it's completely free if you have a library account. It's great.
Why isn't anyone using it?
I Oshkosh Library was not included in that for a long time, and then I just checked again like 2 months ago, and all of a sudden it was in there, and
They
I was like,
finally joined.
"Nice."
Good. Well, it's something in which the reason I said that is one of the biggest purchasers, and I don't have this for facts. I don't know this for facts, but one of the biggest purchasers I can see of physical media still is a public library. I'm shocked every time I
Yeah.
go in there. They have new Blu-rays all the time of all the new movies people want to see.
Yep. Yeah, that is how I watched quite a bit of movies last year.
And I don't want that physical media to be lost because I want the public library to be able to have it so anyone can just go watch it for free. You shouldn't have to go constantly pay a monthly subscription fee to watch Jurassic World Rebirth. Like that should be a I don't know, I'll take it from the library and check it out. I don't have high hopes, but at least it's free.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm I mean, it is a good hack. Also another good hack if you're into physical media, pawn pawn stores.
Well, we even said it in our Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone episode. Don't go buy a new copy or don't pay for a streaming service to watch it. Go to a local used store and go buy it
Yeah.
there because then J.K. Rowling doesn't get any money for it. The local guy
I
gets the
would
money for it.
yeah, I would say of the I don't know, 500 Blu-rays I have maybe.
I think
Um
that's being very generous on the low end.
no, I think that's probably about right. Probably. I would say 75% of them I bought at used stores and
Well,
shops. And the best thing about pawn shops is they don't give a fuck about movies. They don't know what anything's worth. So they just go all Blu-rays, $2 or $3, and that's it. And I'm like, okay,
well, that's why. I mean, your favorite activity when you come to Madison is, hey, can we go to the used store? Because you want to go track down more movies.
yeah, it's great.
That's how Dylan and I make a day out of it. If we usually go movie hunting, we pick up lunch, we come back. If Ab's around, we play a bunch of games. We might record a show. Dylan goes home. It's a grand old day.
Oh, speaking of which, if we do want to do a day where we play video games,
Yeah.
I did just get um the Texas Chainsaw game,
Ooh, that seems up your alley to play on
but
stream.
I saw you have to have an online account. I'd have to bring it down to you and play.
It's fine. We can figure
I'm
that
not about to pay for an online subscription.
out. There's so many ways to get around that, Dylan. We can take care of that.
Okay. Because I do wanna play it though.
Yeah, we'll get
Like,
it.
it looks fun.
And one last trend I do want to talk about because I know we're talking a lot on trends here, but streaming is taking over not only film in general, release dates, how much money is made in theaters, it's taking over straight genres. Movies that would be evergreen in the theater because they allowed for a yearly business to be profitable. The mid budget action film doesn't exist in theaters anymore. The rom com does not exist in theaters
I was
anymore.
gonna say rom-com is the big one to me.
The general comedy does not exist in theaters anymore. They all
Yeah.
go to streaming.
Look at the 90s and how many hits of those years were rom-coms.
Oh yeah.
They were always like just a bankable thing. They were a lot like horror, where like if you make a half decent rom-com with one star in it, it's probably gonna make money.
Look at just Julia Roberts through the '90s. That's all you got to
Yes,
do. Look at
exactly.
Meg Ryan through the '90s. That's all you got to do. Just look.
Yeah. And now the only one I can think of that had any success is Anyone But You, which again, that's a pretty mediocre rom-com. I enjoy it. Is it a great movie? No. But,
Well,
like,
but
that's the
also,
example of what I think a rom-com should be, where it's just 2 really charismatic people, very low budget, and it's gonna make a lot of money because people love those people.
well, I mean, it's crazy. And look what it had to do to become a hit. You needed the hottest new star that Hollywood's really trying to make, that
Yeah.
people want to actually be made as well. You had the hottest young female star that people really wanted to see try to make it, regardless of her acting ability. And they had to create a 6 month controversy about whether they were actually dating in real life, which was a not so accidental like
Oh, it was definitely a
story.
marketing ploy,
It's a
and
marketing ploy.
that's not, like, the first time that's happened.
No,
So, it's just going back to, like, classic marketing stuff.
but
I had no
immediately,
problem with it.
yeah, I couldn't have cared less. Couldn't have cared less.
I don't care what anyone does for a marketing thing. I'm like, "Eh, you're
As
just
long
gonna
as you're
make your
not, as
money
long as
back."
you're not doing anything completely unethical, couldn't
Oh,
care
yeah,
less.
if you're not being a huge asshole about it, don't be a dick, but
Yeah, but I just multiple genres of film no longer exist in theaters. They exist solely on streaming platforms. They're made solely for streaming platforms.
mm,
It's just not a great place to be in.
yeah, the other trend that I wrote down that I really wanted to, like, emphasize was near total virtual production
Oh yeah.
nowadays. Like, anything that has any kind of decent budget, most of it's gonna be virtual. Obviously, Avatar's the biggest one where 98% of the movie is virtual.
I think that's still being too kind. I think it's 99.9% except that one spider kid.
Well, I was gonna say, the human characters are the only thing that's real in the movie.
Correct.
Like, everything else and literally the entire movie of costumes is virtual, which I guess it makes sense in costume design, not costume, like, production, but the other ones I wrote down were Minecraft. Again, I would, guess 10% of it is real.
If that.
Jungle Cruise, another one. Um, all the Marvel stuff. Then the biggest one that I wanted to talk about was Indiana Jones. Because if you look at Indiana Jones, Isle of Destiny, just how big of a difference there is between that and the originals.
Or even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
And the funny thing is, you look at the making of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a lot of it is on location,
Correct.
and they just did a really bad job of both color grading it and like touch up work where it looks way more virtual than it actually was in real life.
Right. It was really strange.
It was unnecessary completely. But then this newest one, it's just another generic virtual production where like most of it's fake,
It's because
which is
that's because Disney shit.
yeah, and that's a shame because like that's the kind of trademark of Indiana Jones is how real everything was.
Well, there's a reason that. I mean, I just look at it this way. We first watched Indy when we were 5 to 7 years old, probably. When you can show a 5 to 7 year old kid a movie that predates them by over a decade, and they still go, "Ooh, I feel like this is a real thing," and not like a, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening," because it's just a movie for them and they don't realize what a movie actually is. But when they can actually feel the tangible sense of what this movie is, it's a big, powerful thing. There's a reason people gravitated to those movies. They felt tangible because they were tangible. They
Yeah.
were held together by fucking, popsicle sticks and tape and glue and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Fishing
And
wire. But they
it's
made it
not
work.
just yeah, it's not just like the action oriented parts of it either.
Yeah.
Because like look at all the sets and stuff and the location of Cairo and Raiders and compare that to where are they in Dial Destiny, Morocco?
Yeah, it's Morocco and then Greece. Yeah.
Like nothing feels like they're actually on location in Dial of Destiny. Whereas everything feels like it is in Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, like, that's the thing. I don't even know if they had a single set. And I know they did, obviously, but like
Yeah.
in Raiders, you can't. You feel like I'm assuming like the bar in was a set. That first bar
Yeah.
scene out in the Himalayas. You can't. You don't inherently go, well, this was clearly made on set. You don't do that.
Yeah. I it's just another thing of like even when they are actual on location stuff, they're always augmenting it with visual effects that it doesn't look real anymore.
Well, also
And
it's just
that's my biggest gripe a lot of the
well,
time.
it doesn't make sense where, yeah, especially if you are on location. Location is the beauty that you're bringing. I look at it this way, like we talked about a lot on the Oscars episodes for it when we covered it with Mad Max Fury Road. It has more visual effects than people think it does, but it feels very tangible because all they did, let's make the special effects fit the location and the real cars and the real everything that we have that's tangible. Not, let's make the real location fit the special effects. That's
Mm,
ass backwards. That's not what you're supposed to do. If I wanted
yeah.
to make this room feel a part of a movie, but I wanted to put a fucking dragon on this cat stand, I'm not going to say, let's create the dragon and then let's make the entire rest of the room fit the dragon. We're like, no, we're going to make the dragon fit the rest of the room. It's not that goddamn complex.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it is like there are good logical reasons for it, like it fitting in with the scene more if everything is virtual, but
But
I
you,
just
you
don't like that way
but,
of thinking.
but your entire production can't be hampered by it. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
The other one that I thought of was Mission Impossible, um, Dead Reckoning, the 7th one.
Yeah,
The train scene at the end where, like, it's falling into the canyon and stuff.
yeah,
A lot of that, they shot in an actual canyon,
yep.
and they replace everything. Probably just 'cause it doesn't look that, like, appealing. It's not, like, a very appealing location or anything. But I'm like, I'd rather just see the real thing even if it doesn't look as great.
Because it's the drama that you're presenting that matters. And you've already, like, Mission Impossible already won with the stunt jump from the cliff. Like, it already had it. It's fine. It's Mission Impossible.
They built that up too much, I think.
They did. I was kind of like, oh, that's it, which is hilarious because
And,
had they not built that up, I would have been like, that scene's awesome. But now
well,
I'm
the
like,
problem is
it's fine.
I don't think they did a good job of covering it. Like, it didn't look as impressive as it actually is,
Yeah.
which is part of the problem again, where it's like, you're doing all these awesome things, Tom Cruise. You're literally risking your life because you're a fucking insane person, and then, for some reason, it doesn't turn out that well. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like you compare that jump is just as impressive as anything in the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
but the one in Ghost Protocol is 10 times the scene because it
It's shot perfectly. It's covered
yes.
really, really well. Where you
Yeah.
feel it's that classic feeling of where everyone knows where it feels, where you're just like, heights. I don't know. And you just get that puckered feeling, and you're like, I don't feel good. The entire time I watched The Burge scene, I'm like, oh.
Oh, actually, another one that I just thought of. This isn't 2020, but it's a sign of what was to come. In which one do they do like high atmosphere jump? That Fallout?
Yeah, Fallout's the because it's
Yeah,
yeah, it goes
'cause
Ghost
it's Henry.
Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout,
Yeah, it's
Dead
Henry
Reckoning.
Cavill. They you look at the making of and the production of that, everything they're doing is real. The whole jump is real. The people, the cameramen are jumping with Tom Cruise and all the other actors. And then they cover everything up with that storm where it's like everything in the making of, you can see everything very clearly. And it's 10 times more impressive without the visual effects.
Yeah, high altitude jumps are fucking rad.
Yeah, and that's the impressive part. You don't need to cover everything up with visual
Well,
effects.
also, it's not that I was about to say something that would be really stupid, so I'm going to clarify it so it doesn't sound stupid. I was about to say it's not that difficult. That's absolutely horseshit. Yeah, we got our Lupin cameo for the day. Hell yeah.
He's barking at something.
Mailman, Amazon delivery, or dog across the street. That's the question. But but I look back at Tomorrow Never Dies did a high altitude jump in '97, and they already showed how to make it look dope. Like that's by far the best thing in Tomorrow Never Dies, that high altitude jump. Besides maybe the falling down when they're handcuffed on the signage. Like it's the only other one that I think really compares. Actually, Tomorrow Never Dies has a lot of good stunt work. The rest of the movie, but the big set pieces are really cool.
Yeah, not great.
I love Michelle Yeoh for it, but it's a lot of I like Pearson, I like Michelle Yeoh. I don't really like this movie. I like those
Yeah,
two though, but there's a movie that predates you by over 20 years that already showed just shoot it. Don't add a bunch of shit to it. Just shoot it
yeah,
because it's
and
gonna
that's
look cool.
yeah, I would recommend everyone go and watch the Fallout, this making of that scene. It's incredible. It just looks like shit in the final production. It's a shame.
All right, let's take it to the Oscars of 2020. You already kind of talked about it. Inclusion was a big mindset that they're trying to do.
Yeah, and then, going back to what I first talked about with, like, a lot of the stories, especially at the Oscars, are now reflecting division, inequality, like, social rifts within groups in society. So, the ones I wrote down were Nomadland, which won Best Picture,
Yep.
all about inequality and, you know, working at Amazon and how you become a husk of yourself. Um,
As someone who has a friend that did that, I get it.
yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once, another one that won Best Picture.
Deep family drama, yes.
Yes, and that again, that's all about a a mom's inability to connect with her daughter.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other ones that I wrote down were like Trial of Chicago 7, Avatar 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. Like all these were nominated for Best Picture. I'd say like half the movies, it probably more than that, are all about what I was just saying, like inequality or
Yeah.
social rifts.
It's it could be better. in
I
terms
mean,
of
no, I have
in
no
terms of
problem,
variance, it could be better, but it's not they're not bad movies. I want to make that clear.
and they're not all doing it the same way,
Yeah.
which I think is important. Because like the one that I wrote down that I think is just way too on the nose was Don't Look Up, the
Yeah.
Adam McKay movie. It's so surface level. But it's just like you're not saying anything with any kind of tact.
Yeah. The whole thing is, wow, this is really stupid. Isn't it
Yeah, I
stupid?
mean, it
Isn't it
is
how
pointing out how stupid some people are in the world. Yes.
it feels like a closer to reality version of Idiocracy?
Yeah. Feels like a Monty Python movie made in 2020.
A little bit. And from that aspect I enjoy that film. But yeah, when it comes to trying to say something, it's like the first 10 minutes are kind of refreshing because you're like, finally, someone's saying this shit. And
Yeah.
then after the next hour, you're like, I don't need you to keep reminding me that society fucking sucks. Like, I
Yeah,
get it.
I mean, all it's saying is, hey, there's people out there that don't care and they will be blind to whatever they want to be because it benefits them.
Correct.
But
Oh,
that's a very
we should let the asteroid hit Earth for all the precious metals. You're like, but you'll all be dead. But we'll
I
get the
will
precious
say
metals. You're like, you're out of your mind.
I do like the end sequence of the asteroid hitting.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that sequence. But that's pretty much all I enjoy about that movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that was like the last Leo comedy, right?
One battle after another definitely has comedic moments.
Okay. Because I haven't
He's a,
watched it yet.
I think he's a very underrated comedic actor.
I mean, he can do everything. That's why he is who he is.
It's like Wolf of Wall Street is also
Heavy comedy.
heavy comedy, but mostly drama.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe
It's a dark
One
comedy.
Battle.
It's a dark comedy. That's what
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street
Him and
is.
Benicio are kind of hilarious in One Battle.
Nice.
It's really good.
I'm excited to finally watch. That was another one I could have watched on the flight. I was like, I'm really trying to get my life organized with this goddamn podcast and 2 YouTube channels and all this other shit. I gotta get organized.
Yeah.
I can't devote 3 hours of this flight solely to this movie when I got so much shit I gotta do for this, and I already feel behind on. One thing I wanted to talk about Oscars wise is I think they're getting closer to with the differences of the Academy now and bringing more people in that have a true sensibility to what the modern audience is. We're getting closer to what Oscars should be and what audiences think the Oscars should be, but we're not simpatico yet. Because for every Dune Part 2 or Sinners that everyone's like impeccable, definitely should be nominated. You have a Wicked that you're like, why the fuck is this here? That
See,
doesn't belong here.
that's one where I think they're pandering.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it wasn't nominated, people would be arguing, "Oh, they're out of touch."
Well, that's the thing is I think
And trust me, I don't think Wicked deserved a Best Picture nomination.
fuck no, that movie's not that
I
good.
also don't I also don't think Black Panther did, but that's a different
I
story.
am of that mindset as well. I was a huge MCU defender at the time, but if one was supposed to break through, I would have said I don't know if it's worthy of this, but like the best movie of this series thus far has been Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's not Black Panther.
I don't think anything
Yeah,
is
that's what I'm
deserved.
saying. It's like I don't think any of
Um,
them. I don't know if any of them are Best Picture worthy.
I do think 2/3 of Black Panther is worthy. It just completely falls apart in
Yeah,
the
that
end.
third act's a little rough. Yeah, but it's certainly something in which, for every time you get a good breakthrough, like a true good breakthrough, like Substance last year, where I was like,
Yeah,
thank God. And then I watched it and I was like, this is every bit what deserves to have a Best Picture nomination.
yeah,
I fucking loved The Substance. Then there was Wicked. And I was like, the two of these being in the same conversation belittles one of them.
yeah.
My
I
opinion. My opinion.
That's where I do think they are getting better, though. The Academy. I think they're getting better at trying to find a balance between normal, everyday moviegoers and more technical aspects of
Yeah,
yeah.
the hoity-toity
'Cause
stereotype.
yeah, because there are things like Wicked that technically well-made movie.
Oh,
I don't care for it,
that's the thing I liked
but
about Wicked. When I you can go back and look at the review. It's technically spectacular. I love the visuals of it. But you could tell there's nothing tangible. There's
this
nothing
is
tangible
also because this year, Wicked for Good got 0 nominations.
because it's terrible. It's not a good movie.
And that's where I think they are getting better because the critics didn't love it, and normal everyday people didn't love it either.
Good.
So it's like they are kind of reflecting much better now than they were back in the day.
Yeah. So like take a 2020 onward best picture. We had Nomadland is 2020, correct?
Yeah, then Coda, which was a surprise at the time.
Okay.
And then 2022 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Highly deserving.
23 is Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And then last year was Anora.
Yeah.
I Anora was my favorite of the best picture of the ones that were realistically going to win. Like that was my favorite.
Okay.
Um
Because you just
so
assumed the substance wasn't going to win.
pretty much. I did think Demi Moore had a chance to win Best
I
Actress,
yeah.
and that would have been great. I'm fine with Mikey Madison winning though. It's just eh, those movies I do think do have a good combination of good for everyday people, good for critics.
Well, my biggest thing is I think that's where when I'm talking about the simpatico part, I want it to feel. I don't want it to feel like the NFL playoffs with 14 teams, where everyone's got a shot. You're like, no, they don't. I mean, yeah, something could happen any given Sunday, kind of thing, right? But when you go into the NFL playoff, you know there's three teams over here with a legit shot. There's three teams over here with a legit shot. It's whoever survives, they'll take it. You're not going to get a lot of those Cinderella stories, right? It's the same thing. I want it to be if the substance is in, I want to actually believe the substance has a chance to win.
I think that's an actual argument against something that you did enjoy, which was the expansion of Best Picture. Because I think it's a way more, much more of a competition if there's only five.
I agree, and that's why
Because there's usually five that you can write off immediately, like, yeah, this doesn't have any chance in hell at winning.
I don't have an issue if like the expansion isn't my issue. My issue is when it's a hard fast we have to have X.
Yeah.
I think it
Well,
should
they,
I think it should be
yeah,
baseball Hall of Fame-ish where we don't go in with a quota. Like the Oscars, obviously, because they always traditionally should have five, you should say we have to have a minimum of five.
yeah. Well, they have kind of shot themselves in the foot lately, where they always have 10 now.
And that's,
Always.
I think that's a disservice because if you had like a 2022 that was loaded with really good movies, if you go in and say we have seven Best Picture nominees, but in that you also have Everything Everywhere All at Once, and you have Top Gun Maverick, and all the other wonderful films that were nominated that year. You can go in and say we think these are the seven best movies of the year, and all of them have a legitimate argument to being called Best Picture,
Yeah. Also, the Oscars does have kind of a disadvantage where they are the last award show.
which is hilarious because they should have all the advantages in the world of being the most prestigious of them.
They are, and they're the one that counts the most.
Yeah,
But also, it's like they're not actually picking. Very rarely does anything not win a single award and then all of a sudden win an Oscar. It's very rare.
right.
So like it's the other award shows are very like predictive of what the Oscar's going to
Well,
be.
when does the voting occur for all of them?
Usually, um, for the Oscars, I think it opens up in January or like late December, and then it closes usually like 3 weeks later. So, and usually before Oscars voting even closes, you usually have most of the other awards already held.
See,
So,
that's my issue is the voting should close before any other award show happens.
yeah, that would be nice.
Because then you could truly say this is what we the academy think. Like we're going through this right now in professional football. Just yesterday, as of recording, you're going to get this a couple days afterwards, so it's just a couple days later. Bill Belichick, like him or not, was just snubbed out of a Hall of Fame vote. You shouldn't even have a vote for Bill Belichick to be in. He's clearly one A or B of the best coach to ever coach the game of football. This shouldn't be a does he deserve to be in? This should be a we need to get him in as fast as possible to preserve the reputation of the Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
And it got leaked that he wasn't going to get in. And it's like you don't understand. Your stupid little petty grievance against him. I'm not a huge Bill Belichick fan personally, like him as a human being, but I can't argue the success rate doesn't deserve to automatically be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
And that's the same thing with the Oscars. I'm like, no, no, no. You are the creme de la creme, or you pretend to be the creme de la creme, whatever
they
the
are
case may be,
in
right?
terms of awards. Yeah,
You need to open your voting and you need to close your voting before anybody else. Because then you can say, we're not influenced by anything else. And you know for a fact, your voting body is going to talk to each other. Like they're not. There's no way you can't stop people from texting and calling their friends that are in the academy and saying, "Oh, hey, like I'm a little wishy washy. What'd you think?" You can't stop people from that.
yeah.
But it shouldn't
Well,
be, "Oh, I saw it on the Golden Globes. I was kind of teetering, but like, look how many people vote politically just to win. They don't want to back a loser, so they won't vote for someone that they should vote for because they don't feel that that person's going to win.
well, there is a lot of that in the Oscars as well, where
Sports teams,
they're
they do that all the
they're
time.
straight up campaigning for Oscars.
Yeah,
So
it's horseshit. You shouldn't have to campaign.
it's a shame that it happens, but it's just a fact of reality
I
that's
thought
going to
about
happen.
this because this is completely unrelated, but it's a quote I kind of just came up with as to why if someone asked me about my personal beliefs, I'm like, if your God has to advertise, I don't think he's that powerful enough for me to care. Because I watch occasional clips of fights or sports, a lot of my algorithms think I'm a far right Christian, which I'm not.
Mm,
But because I watch sports and occasional fight clips, they think, oh, this guy's got to be a heavy far right Christian Republican. So I get a lot of the "he gets us" ads on YouTube, like the stupid Jesus ones. And I'm like, if your God has to advertise to me, I don't think your God's that powerful. Like,
yeah, yeah. But the problem is other people who watch the same things as you help eat that shit up.
I know, but that's the same thing as like when it comes to the Oscars, it'd be the same thing. If you have to campaign to tell me why you're the best,
Well,
I
the
don't
problem
think
is
you have to
that
do that.
campaigning works. That's the problem,
Well,
really.
thanks to Harvey Weinstein for that shit. But
Well, it's just they have so many like events that literally studios will throw on just for their actors to like show up and, shake hands and,
smooth it
you
up.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, become brown noses. So like it unfortunately it works. That's the problem, really.
Oh, because it's
But
human beings, human beings. Oh, I met that guy. He was really nice to me.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, he's nice. I'll vote for him."
Well,
Sure.
look at how many celebrities who otherwise have zero affiliation with anything logical that matches Donald Trump the first time around. They're like, no, I've met Donald. He was really nice. He was really kind to me.
Yeah.
I believe he's going to be right. And you're like, no, that's not how it works. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at his vice president, how hard he changed.
exactly. Like
Where it's just like,
it's
yeah,
human nature for you to be like, oh, I met him. He's actually a pretty nice guy. Like I remember, even my personal life, meeting one of my heroes, CM Punk, and he has so many horror stories of people who don't like him, where they come up to him in an airport or something, and they're like, "Oh, he was a huge dick to me." And I thought about it because I was in Stan's Donuts in Chicago, about to get on the train to go to a flight to Denver, and then I looked back and I was like, "Why do I know those tattoos?" I look up, I'm like, holy shit, it's CM Punk. And instead of being like, hey, Mr. Punk, and just interrupting his conversation and asking for photos and shit with his wife and stuff, instead went, and he could tell I was nervous. And I was like, oh my God, hey, I just want to say hi. I'm a huge fan. Thanks for what you do. You really helped me out, with a lot of stuff, and I appreciate it. And love the fact that you're a straight edge guy. It gave me a lot to look up to. Appreciate it. Nicest could be. The nicest guy in the world. And I get it. Immediately, I was like, all those stories have to be raw. And
yeah,
obviously, there's going to be some of those stories that are right. That someone bum rushes him in an airport at 5 a.m. to get an autograph for eBay, and he's like, fuck you. I don't need to speak to you. And I get it. Those stories are also real. My experience isn't universal to everyone else's experience. But
yeah,
naturally, I'm like, oh, Punk's the nicest guy in the world. Like, how could you ever say anything bad about Punk? I get it.
yeah. That's the problem.
It's just, I just don't understand how logic can escape this many people. I don't get it. Like, because also, when I watch a movie, you have to make a damn good argument why I think something differently than that.
So the one thing that I'll say that proves that campaigning works. th- Have you ever heard of Diane Warren?
I mean, I've heard of Diane Warren, but
She's a she's a songwriter.
okay.
Every single year she gets a nomination. And every single year the movie is something no one's ever watched, no one's ever heard of. Like she literally is like Mrs. Oscar at this point where it's just like she is the true Meryl Streep where if she has anything within that year that could qualify,
Everyone
she will
immediately
be
just goes, "Oh, it's
nominated.
Diane."
Like, and it's just like she got nominated this year for best song. They'd never heard of the movie, like never heard of it. And sometimes I watch like Oscar nomination reactions where they react in live to the nominees being announced, and every single one they're like, "Yeah, Diane Warren got nominated again." Like it's just a given at this point, and that's just proof that like campaigning worked because he must be the nicest person in the world or
She's
something.
greasing the wheels hard on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's fun.
that's proof of campaigning working.
Yeah, yeah. Are the Oscars moving in the right direction in this decade? Do you think?
Yes. I think they've been moving in the right direction for a decade now.
That's fair. Now let's we've been going a lot on trends and stuff like that, but I only want to talk about one significant tech thing that's happening. Well, two, I guess. One, obviously, being AI and how it's being used far more prevalently now in the film industry, even over the last 3 years than it was the first 3 years. And granted, it's upgrading, it's constantly getting better. I understand that. But then on top of that, AI models were always used for streaming, mathematics, things of those nature,
Yeah,
to
algorithm.
the algorithm, right? So it was already a part of the film industry, but it was from a streaming standpoint, not necessarily making a movie.
Mhm.
Does the use of those things give to the other trends that are problematic, such as it was just talked about in the last couple of weeks with the new Matt Damon Ben Affleck Netflix um, action film, where in their contract from Netflix it says in the dialogue you need to reiterate 3 to 4 times what the plot of this movie is because we
Yeah.
know people are on their phones. I'm like, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be catering to those people. Like,
Eh, yeah, that was my big problem with it is like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, you are two very powerful people in Hollywood. If you don't want to do that, then
you
straight
don't
up
do it.
then just say, "We're not going to do that." They can't. I promise you, Netflix would not strong arm you into that.
Yeah, they're powerful enough to not do it.
Again, they might get paid a little less, but
If the
to
movie's
me,
better, who
that's worth
cares?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, oh God, this is the state of the movie making world at the moment.
Well, it's just like we haven't seen the full effect of AI in film.
No, it's only going to get worse because everything AI is so powerful and it's going to become even more powerful that at this point you could probably make a movie entirely with AI within the next 5 years.
You can do it right now. It might not be
I,
cohesive, but you can do it.
exactly. I'm saying like in terms of like making an actual movie that works. Because
Fair enough.
eventually it'll be able to do visual effects fairly good just by itself. It can write stuff by itself already, whether or not that's good, who
Well, it's
knows?
just wild, even in the past
Even
year,
even
how.
smaller things like making movie posters,
Yeah.
like, it can do that competently now.
Well, even just the other day, I went, when I was in LA, we went out to dinner and there was a card shop nearby. So I was like, and, our friends have a small child. So, like, hey, we're going to walk around, but you can go to your card shop. So I went in and a guy was starting his, like, YouTube channel or whatever. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I went straight to Chat GPT, and I had him make a logo and a whole banner for me and everything, and I just went for it." And the whole shop like ridiculed him a little bit. And I was just like, I just bit my lip because I'm like, I'm over here drawing every goddamn thing myself. Obviously I take shapes and things so they look better.
I mean, I'm guilty of using it for one video I made, which was, um, like an examination of Jack the Ripper,
Right.
and I used an AI narrator because I straight up hate the sound of my own voice, so I couldn't edit it. Like, I tried making it myself, and I was like, "Yeah, I can't deal with this." So, I did use an AI narrator, and now looking back at it, I'm like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that." It's just so easy, that's the problem.
Well, it's so easy. I mean, we talked about on the previous episode where I started using, not knowing the environmental aspects of it. And I was like, oh, Chat GPT, let me use it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm burning the world's very precious water resources really quickly with this stupid workout plan idea I wanted to make. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
let's not do that. Or even things like I did two, they're just drawings I couldn't get on paper well enough to really hammer home the idea. So I took it to Chat GPT. I was like, okay, I want this, I want this, and I want this, just to get a visual, so I can be like, okay, that's not what I exactly want, but there's elements that I really want there. And they're all ideas that I had drawn in the past, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it to this, and I did it, and I went, oh my god, I'm actively killing the planet. But it was so easy that I was like, oh, this is gonna help me. It's a great tool. I get it, awesome. And now I'm like, oh shit, like, I didn't even get the full result of what I wanted, but what was the cost benefit analysis of it? I watch a ton of shorts, and all of a sudden I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, wow, they did a really good job with this. And then within a split second, I'm like, no shit, they did. It's AI. Of course they did a good job.
Yeah.
Where it's like someone's going in the world of Pokemon, and they're showing you what a real life Pokemon would be like, and
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah, yeah.
well, it's clearly AI making this because it's just a little off. It's not even the right design of the Pokemon. It's just a hair
Mhm.
off enough to go. It's AI. Okay. I like.
Yeah.
I get it.
Should we, talk about something more positive?
Sure, of course we should.
So, I have 2 other things. Both, what are your favorites of the decade so far?
Okay.
And then I was thinking either 1 or maybe top 3 of what do you think will be, like, the classic of what will be remembered, 50 years from now?
Okay.
So if you have, like, up to 3, that's fine, or I was thinking, like, what's the one I think will be the movie?
Well, before we do, let's do this.
And I was having a hard time, I really couldn't decide.
Actually, no. I let's not do that beforehand. So let's go favorites, and then let's go stand the test of time.
Okay. I for my favorites, I wrote down some like in terms of the genre.
Sure.
So horror, my favorite was Talk to Me, followed closely by Oddity, which is another movie that's very small, very few people have seen. I'd highly recommend it. Comedy, I really like Palm Springs. I wrote down two, Batman and Top Gun Maverick. And then comedy, put The Holdovers. But all those I think are really great movies, and I think most of them will stand the test of time.
Sure. It is crazy how many people I know in my life that love Palm Springs. I liked it. It was a fun little movie, but I there's so many people like I love Palm Springs. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. It's that The Flash also has like straight up Mummy Returns level CGI in
Yeah,
it.
it's bad.
Like
It's
it
bad.
does look like a PS2 graphic. Like it's
It's bad.
so outdated.
It's bad. So yeah, as much like the thing is this is Dial of Destiny my favorite? No, but I enjoyed parts of Dial of Destiny because I'd already come to accept that movies were going to piss me off visual effects wise, and I knew
It's
Disney
fair.
was going to try something. And I get it. You have a late 70s Harrison Ford or early 80s Harrison Ford
Yeah.
playing Indy. You're not going to get late 30s, early 40s at his prime Indy.
Yeah, I think I would say indie for me just because there's not a movie that I wanted to like more.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I really wish it was good, but it just wasn't.
Another one I'd give you because it's not a bad movie, it's just a straight up meh movie is Eternals. I was really looking forward to Eternals, and
Mm.
Eternals was a shame.
When was
Was
that? 2021?
yeah. Well, 2021, Marvel was stacked because it had uh did Black Widow come out that year because they held it
No,
back
Black
or
Widow was 2020, I
yeah, they know
think.
that because yeah, because they went forward with it as a streaming forward thing, and then that's why Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson had to sue them. So, which don't know why you'd want to break that relationship, but that's a different story on either part. I
And
don't
if she's
know.
done with it, I don't mind that.
No, I get it for her end. She's like, hold on, wait, hold on. My entire salary was wrapped up in this going to a theater. If you're just going to give this away for free, how am I going to
Yeah.
make any money off this? And this was her chance to finally be get that like A list holy shit money, right?
To be fair, the movie wasn't very good.
It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
And also, it sucks because as much as you love her as Black Widow, Florence Pugh is by far the best part about that movie.
The most interesting character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Florence Pugh though, so like I get it. But yeah, 2021 had Shang-Chi, it had Eternals, it had Spider-Man No Way Home. They were stacked that year. And Eternals they were making out to be this giant epic, and this finally Marvel was trying to do something bigger and grander than just a comic book crossover. And meh.
Yeah.
And they violated half the rules of Eternals, which bothered me to no end. I was like, why is Icarus the villain? The one fucking character you should not have turned is the one you chose to turn. It's like in 2001. I know you don't really care, but you'll at least understand the reference. No one wants to boo Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nobody wants to boo Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what we should do? We should turn him heel. No one's gonna boo Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's not gonna happen. It's the same thing for me. I'm like, if it's Eternals, no one's gonna want to boo Icarus. Don't boo Icarus. Like it's stupid. Like I hated that. So those would be my bigger disappointments of it. My favorites, I would say, are also the ones. Most of them are going to be the ones that I would say stand the test of time. But going through quick, just from this past year, I really loved 28 Years Later. I thought that was great. Really enjoyed F1. Sinners
Another
is
surprise nominee for Best Picture, F1.
that got I don't even know the nominees, so that's flabbergasting. Because I will say,
He,
the more I've watched it, the more I see the holes in it, and just accept it that I love it, as opposed to it's a great
yeah,
movie.
got nominated for Best Picture. Came out of nowhere.
That's
Like
wild.
everyone was like, all the reactions I saw were like, really? I got nominated for Best Picture. I mean, I like that movie, but
uh, but so just movies I enjoy, just so I don't say the same thing over and over again. Really enjoyed those. Obviously, everyone knows how much I love Sinners. Sinners was great. From 2024, I think really stands out as something I loved. But 2023, Oppenheimer and Barbie were two that I think are phenomenal. Obviously, 2022, I think, is the best year thus far for film of the decade, with three huge standout hits for me with the Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Top Gun Maverick. Just great. And I love Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings for 2021. I absolutely love Shang-Chi. So those are some of my bigger ones uh, from this one. What would you say stands the test of time? We're like one to three that you are going to
I
be
don't
the movies.
I really don't know. I was trying to think of so many different movies, and I was like, I could see these being well-known movies, but I don't know if any of them are actually gonna become, like when I think of, like, 30 years ago, so the '90s,
Yeah.
like, are the any of these gonna be like Titanic or Shawshank where it's, like, in the argument for, like, some of the biggest movies of all time, well-known? I think I could see Sinners doing it, but I don't know if it will, because I could also see that easily just being one where it's like, "Oh, yeah, remember that one movie, that vampire movie with Michael B. Jordan?" I could easily see it just being like that, and again, I think Oppenheimer could be that way too, where it's like, it could either be really respected 30 years from now, or it's just people know it because Christopher Nolan made it.
So I'll give you five that I think are going to be remembered as the best of the decade. Whether they have the status, obviously we won't know, but I would stamp I believe they will be remembered for it. The one I have the least confidence in, oddly, is the one that I think is the most unique and would fit that milieu, and that would be Everything Everywhere All at Once. But even over the last 3 years, it's diminished really
I
quickly.
was gonna say, I don't think that's gonna be remembered. I think that's gonna be one where it's like, "Hey, have you seen that movie? It's actually great." Like, it's a diamond that you find
I would equate
from
that,
the
like, I
past.
look at this and everyone's got those diamonds for themselves, but I remember the first time I found Escape from New York. I just went, holy shit, this movie's fucking awesome.
And that's much more of a cult movie than it is anything
And
else.
that's where I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to go, into that
Yeah.
cult classic where the people who know it will fight for it every day, where they're like, no, you don't understand how good this movie is.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I also think that that's the one I have the least amount of confidence in. Uh, the one I have the most confidence in thus far, because it's also stood up for 3 years of conversation, is Top Gun Maverick.
Yep.
I would say that's going to be one where everyone's going to go Top Gun
I just
Maverick.
don't know the one thing about that is, like, I don't know if young people will care about it that much.
Why did young people in the 90s and 2000s care about Top Gun in the first place? Right? Like,
Well, part of
why did our generation stick on to Top Gun when they found it? Right?
yeah. I just don't know about younger people, but I do see your point there.
But then I would say ones that are going to stand the test of time simply because they fit their audience. I think Barbie's going to stand the test of time because it's still popular, it's still talked about, uh, and it's such a female centric movie that hits the time frame that it's going to stay in conversation because it was a piece of the conversation of not just pop culture but culture in general of the West.
Are there planned sequels for Barbie?
I don't
That's
know.
one thing I didn't okay, because I was gonna say, if they don't make sequels, I think it has a better shot at being a classic.
I agree. I agree.
I don't know if they're gonna make more. I hope they don't,
I wouldn't
but
like. I think if it had like one sequel that was just fine, I think it'd be okay. But if it
mhm.
turned it into a franchise, then it becomes another, oh, one of those franchises. Oh, gotta go see Barbie.
Well, I this is like, the one that I think of is Mary Poppins, Where it's like everyone thinks of Mary Poppins as a classic,
Yeah,
but it kind of becomes diminished after they make a second.
yeah,
And
it's
I
fair.
think it did take away from it a bit, so that's why I don't want them to make more.
And then the other two that I would really hit home, I think Sinners will be remembered as one of the decade's best. Sinners really, in an era that has no business unifying people in a theater, Sinners did that. And Sinners is also of the moment in multiple ways where you have a lead cast of color that of varying degrees that all come together that really help get you into what cinema is trying to be in a positive way, which is open for everybody. You have a director who is at the height of their powers, who is only going to be remembered for better stuff. Like Coogler is one of those directors that's going to be talked about for decades to come because he's already had enough
I hope
hits.
so.
He's already had enough hits where people have to pay attention. You know, like is he Steven Spielberg? No, but no one else is Steven Spielberg, right? Like if you look at this generation of filmmakers, Coogler is by far one of the ones people are going to talk about.
Yeah.
So that Sinners is the one I have the most confidence in. Plus, it's a perfect example of where audiences are now starting to go, why can't my genre film also be the best film of the year? Why can't a horror movie or why can't a vampire movie be the best movie of the year?
The only reason I say it, I don't know if it will, is because it does feel like a bit of a hipster choice, where
Really.
it's like everyone can kind of recognize that it's a great movie, but will it stay that way for good?
And I also think it's got really powerful performances by someone who is of the moment in Michael B. Jordan, but also Wunmi Masaku does such a
Oh,
phenomenal job when she's
there
in
was
the role.
that was another surprise nominee. Delroy Lindo,
Yeah.
you know who that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the older guy. He got a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. That came
Oh,
out of nowhere, so that was nice.
he does a great job. He deserves it.
Also, Sinner's most nominated movie of all time now.
Really? I don't even know the nomination, so that's awesome.
16 nominations.
Well fucking worth it. Sinners
So
is awesome.
technically, it's really more like 15 because there's the new category of Best Casting. And
Best casting is a category now?
yeah, brand new. And then I think next year they're adding stunts. I think it's 2027.
So they can get any Tom Cruise movie ever in.
I think they're just going, "Hey, Tom, how are we going to get you an Oscar?" Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah,
It's hilarious
like
to think that way, but
even without the best casting, it had 15 nominations, so most
it
nominated of all time.
it's well deserving. Because I have never had in this outside of Top Gun Maverick. I there's not another movie besides Sinners that I will go to bat for where I'm like, no, you don't understand how good this movie is. And
I
every
think it
time
was
I
a.
watch it, I love it more.
I will say I do enjoy it more on rewatches, just because I think it was built up a little too much for me.
That was my fault. I take the
No, it
blame there.
wasn't just your fault. It was a lot of people that I heard talking about like how amazing it was.
Yeah, but then the other thing is the only other one I would mention, because Sinners is by far the one I have the most confidence in, is Oppenheimer. I think is going to be not that there's ever another Godfather, but you know how like every decade has that big drama
Yeah,
that everyone talks about. I think Oppenheimer's will be this decade's.
yeah. The only thing
It's
I'll
a
say about
big three
Oppenheimer,
hour plus epic. It fits all those big
yes,
criteria.
I could easily see that being kind of in the vein of like Dances with Wolves, where eventually it just becomes it's a good movie, but was it a little overhyped? Yeah.
I could understand. I could
But
easily
I love Oppenheimer. I love Dances with Wolves. So
understand. So yeah, I think those are the movies I would certainly talk about. Also, if I didn't mention it enough, I fucking love the Batman from 2022. I don't think it's going to be defining a decade.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be a Dark Knight.
Virtually nothing is a Dark Knight. So But yeah,
But
those.
I'm just saying in terms of memorability.
Yeah, so I'm just saying of the decade, if I were going to rank them in terms of what's going to stay as the movie of the decade, I'd go Sinners, Oppenheimer, Top Gun Maverick, Barbie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Those would be the five that'd be like, this defines a decade thus far.
Hmm.
That'll be a really fun one if we're still doing the show in 2030. Is go back and look at the
Yeah.
decade and be like, what are the movies of the decade? Because I think now another interesting show we should do is the tens. Because now we have enough time removed that we're like, no, what really stands out from the
Yeah.
2010s? So that's another thinking out loud moment. But is there anything else 2020 was wise we got to talk about this far?
No, I got every note that I had down.
Same here. I just think this is going to be really fun to discuss as we go back in time. Because so what's going to be so funny is what is all gray area now is going to start to become more and more definitive as we go
Yeah,
back in time because it's what has lasted. It's like
exactly.
the I think in an odd way, like the 1930s episode is going to be like the easiest one we do because it's going to be like, well,
Oh
what
yeah.
survived? Done. Like,
Yeah.
and you have a history lesson of what's going forth, and that's going to be really fun. But that has been our decade show. That's been fun. Twitch audience, stay with us. We're going to do a game show right afterwards. If you are listening on podcast format on YouTube or Spotify, stay check us again wherever you can. If you can, give us a like, a comment, and subscribe wherever you find this. Doesn't matter if it's on Spotify. Doesn't matter if it's on the PT Creative YouTube channel, which is going to change pretty soon, or it's on the Really Snappy Gaming channel on Twitch. Give us a like, a comment, subscribe, follow where you can. Support your boys. Those Davies boys need your support. Please. Please, please, please. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you are. It is appreciated. So with that being said, peace, love, and hugs.
I
Goodbye.